Discover the rarest and most valuable top 10 Jefferson nickels in history, their hidden stories, and jaw-dropping values worth millions. From unique errors to scarce mintages, explore their 2025 value and why these nickels remain the most prized treasures. The Jefferson nickel has been one of the most recognizable coins in American history, and the 1959 issue without mint mark holds a special place among collectors. At first glance, it may appear as just another 5-cent piece, but when we look deeper, this coin becomes a symbol of rarity and immense value. Struck in an era of post-war prosperity, it represents not only the economy of the United States but also the artistry of coinage during the mid-20th century. The design of the Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, and by 1959, it had already established itself as a classic. On the obverse, Thomas Jefferson's portrait stands strong and dignified, while the reverse features his Virginia home, Monticello. The details of the 1959 issue remain sharp and elegant, emphasizing the fine craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint during this period. Coins from this year without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia, the oldest mint in the country. While the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of coins, what makes the 1959 Jefferson nickel extraordinary is the survival of error-free, high-grade examples. Over time, circulation wore down most of these coins, leaving only a fraction in pristine condition that collectors now treasure. The historical context of the coin adds further importance. By 1959, America was entering a new age of innovation and cultural change. The Cold War was at its height, space exploration was becoming a national priority, and coins like this nickel circulated daily in the hands of Americans witnessing these transformations. This background makes the 1959 Jefferson nickel a true time capsule of its era. Collectors particularly value the condition of coins, and in the case of the 1959 Jefferson nickel, finding one in mint state with full steps on Monticello is extremely difficult. These design details often did not strike fully, meaning that flawless examples are rare, and this rarity drives incredible demand in the numismatic market. The absence of a mint mark on the 1959 Jefferson nickel can also confuse casual observers, but for experts, it signifies Philadelphia's production. This small detail is crucial in determining authenticity, rarity, and ultimate value. It turns what seems like an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream when preserved carefully. Over the years, this coin has become legendary among Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. Auction houses and private sales have witnessed intense bidding wars over well-preserved specimens of the 1959 nickel. The coin has crossed beyond being simple currency into the realm of collectible art, appreciated for both history and rarity. Another factor contributing to its status is the limited availability of error coins from the 1959 issue. Errors, such as double dies or misstrikes, add even more value, making these rare nickels worth staggering amounts when discovered. For collectors, stumbling upon such a find is like unearthing buried treasure. The 1959 Jefferson nickel without mint mark has been compared to hidden gems of the coin world. Many people overlook nickels when searching for valuable coins, but this particular issue proves that even small denominations can command respect and fortune in numismatic circles. It shows that true value is often hidden in plain sight. In terms of market worth, the 1959 Jefferson nickel has shocked collectors with astonishing figures. In high-grade mint state and with the right features, its value has reached up to $3.46 million, a staggering amount for a coin with a face value of just 5 cents. This leap from pocket change to fortune illustrates the power of rarity in collector demand. What keeps the allure alive is the mystery of how many of these high-quality 1959 nickels still exist today. Most were lost to circulation, while others were melted or damaged over time. The very few surviving in pristine condition are now fiercely protected by collectors and often locked away in private collections. Next is the Jefferson nickel has been a cornerstone of American coinage since its introduction in 1938, carrying the image of President Thomas Jefferson and the famous Monticello building on its reverse. Among its long history, the 1968 issue stands out as one of the rarest and most valuable, particularly the one struck with the D mint mark. This coin, though common in circulation for decades, has revealed hidden treasures for collectors and investors who recognize its rarity and condition. The 1968 Jefferson nickel came at a time when coin collecting in the United States was growing rapidly, especially after the silver was removed from circulating coins in the mid-1960s. This nickel was minted in copper nickel, but not all strikes were equal. Coins with the D mint mark, produced at the Denver Mint, hold a special place due to lower survival rates in pristine condition and unique varieties that appeared during minting. Collectors often point out that the Denver Mint in 1968 had inconsistencies in the striking process, which created coins with sharper details and others with weaker impressions. These differences make the search for high-quality examples even more exciting. It is not just about finding the coin, but finding one in top condition with clear lines, strong luster, and no signs of heavy circulation. The obverse of the 1968 nickel shows the familiar portrait of Jefferson, while the reverse showcases Monticello. What makes this coin fascinating is not the design alone, but the minting errors and conditions that have elevated certain pieces to legendary status. Full steps on the Monticello, a feature highly sought after by collectors, are extremely rare on this issue and command exceptional premiums. By the late 1960s, millions of nickels were struck, yet the survival of perfectly preserved coins was minimal. Everyday use meant most coins suffered from scratches, wear, and loss of luster. The 1968 D mintmark nickel that remained untouched in rolls, proof-like sets, or collections became treasures, surviving as silent witnesses of American coinage history. For many numismatists, the charm of the 1968 D nickel lies in its dual character, a coin that circulated widely in grocery stores and gas stations, but one that also harbors versions worth life-changing amounts. It shows how an ordinary piece of change can cross into the extraordinary world of rarity and wealth. Auction houses and collectors highlight that the condition of the coin is everything. A 1968 nickel with the D mint mark in uncirculated grades, particularly with full steps, is extremely difficult to find. The combination of historical timing, scarcity in condition, and collector demand has made this coin one of the most famous Jefferson nickels of the 20th century. Historians of U.S. coinage often remind us that the 1968 nickel reflects a changing era. The country was going through social transformations, the mint was adjusting to new coinage metals, and collectors were beginning to understand that quality coins from this period would become scarce. That foresight has proven true, as the 1968 D nickel today is a star in the numismatic world. When discussing value, it is important to understand that ordinary circulated 1968 nickels are not worth much beyond face value. However, coins of the D mint mark in exceptional condition, with full steps and pristine surfaces, enter the realm of million-dollar prices. The finest examples represent the height of collecting achievements. The record value of a 1968 D Jefferson nickel has reached an astonishing $2.96 million, a figure that seems almost unbelievable for a 5-cent coin. This price reflects the extreme rarity of flawless pieces and the intense demand among elite collectors who compete for such treasures. Such a high valuation has turned this coin into a symbol of possibility for everyday people. It demonstrates that even small coins tucked away in drawers or passed down from family members could turn out to be rare fortune makers. The 1968 nickel is a reminder that history, luck, and careful preservation can transform a simple coin into a world-class artifact. In 1977, the Jefferson nickel without mint mark became one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatic history, capturing the attention of collectors across the globe. This coin, minted in Philadelphia, stood out for its subtle rarity and the story hidden behind its plain appearance. Unlike those carrying the Denver or San Francisco mint marks, this version bore no identifying mark, making it a treasure for sharp-eyed enthusiasts. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, replacing the Buffalo nickel. By 1977, the series had already been in circulation for decades, yet the absence of a mint mark created an unusual characteristic that intrigued collectors. While millions of Jefferson nickels were struck, very few without mint marks from this year have survived in pristine condition. Collectors often admire the front of the coin, where Thomas Jefferson's portrait is displayed with his profile turned left. The word Liberty and the year 1977 can be seen clearly, with the mint mark space left blank beneath the date. This tiny missing detail makes all the difference between an ordinary 5-cent coin and one that could change a collector's fortune. The reverse showcases Jefferson's home, Monticello, surrounded by inscriptions, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Despite being a common design, the specific year 1977, without mint mark, has carried a mystique because so few were produced or preserved in exceptional condition. It became a target for specialists who understood the potential value hidden in this everyday coin. Over time, coins naturally endure wear and tear from circulation, yet those rare examples of the 1977 Jefferson nickel without mint mark that survived with sharp details became incredibly desirable. High-grade specimens with full steps on Monticello are particularly celebrated, as they represent the pinnacle of quality and rarity in this series. The mystery deepens when we consider the production practices of the U.S. Mint in the late 1970s. Philadelphia coins typically lacked a mint mark before 1980, but the scarcity of flawless examples from 1977 turned them into something extraordinary. This was not about an error, but about rarity created by natural survival rates, which elevated the coin's reputation. As decades passed, demand for Jefferson nickels from this period grew steadily, especially those connected with historical nuances. Collectors began bidding fiercely at auctions, pushing prices higher each time a rare 1977 nickel in excellent condition appeared. It became a symbol of how small details in coinage could lead to massive financial value. The charm of the Jefferson nickel lies in its dual identity. For the general public, it is just a common coin used for transactions. But for numismatists, the 1977 no mint mark nickel embodies a fascinating story of preservation, survival, and rarity. Its worth lies not only in its face value but also in its hidden narrative that few truly notice. Auction houses and coin experts often describe the coin as a sleeper in the numismatic world. While some rare coins gained fame immediately, the 1977 Jefferson nickel without mint mark took years to be recognized as a top-tier collectible. Once its importance was established, it began commanding remarkable attention worldwide. The current estimated value of a rare 1977 Jefferson nickel without mint mark in pristine, high-grade condition is around $2.10 million. This staggering figure demonstrates how an unassuming 5-cent coin can transform into a multi-million-dollar asset in the right circumstances, driven by rarity, demand, and collector passion. This extraordinary value does not come by chance. It represents the perfect combination of historical significance, limited survival, and collector enthusiasm. The 1977 Jefferson nickel without mint mark embodies the dream of finding unimaginable worth in ordinary places, a dream that continues to inspire treasure hunters and coin lovers. Next is the Jefferson nickel from 1964, without mint mark, holds a unique place in the history of American coinage, representing a fascinating chapter in the journey of U.S. currency. This coin, seemingly ordinary at first glance, carries stories of transition, widespread minting, and hidden rarity. The year 1964 was marked by a significant coin shortage in the United States, which led the U.S. Mint to strike billions of Jefferson nickels to meet the demand. These coins became one of the most common issues in circulation, yet some rare variations and error strikes turned a seemingly common coin into a collectible treasure. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel from 1964 kept the same design that had been used since 1938. The obverse features the left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, while the reverse depicts his famous Virginia estate, Monticello, detailed with steps and columns that coin collectors carefully inspect for strike sharpness. The absence of a mint mark on the Jefferson nickel from 1964 indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia, as Philadelphia did not place mint marks on nickels at that time. Collectors often look at this detail closely, since small variations in minting can drastically impact rarity and value in the numismatic world. While most Jefferson nickels from 1964 were struck in vast quantities, certain varieties stand apart. Error coins, such as double die obverse, weak strikes, or full steps on Monticello, dramatically increase desirability among collectors. The condition of the coin also plays a critical role, with high-grade uncirculated pieces being far more valuable than worn examples. Over the years, the Jefferson nickel from 1964, without mint mark, has drawn strong attention due to these rare attributes. Numismatists carefully examine such coins, searching for details that separate a regular strike from a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. It is these small yet significant differences that transform a nickel into a fortune. The coin also reflects the broader economic climate of the 1960s. The high demand for coins in 1964 forced the U.S. Mint to stop placing mint marks altogether temporarily, to discourage hoarding. This decision, combined with mass production, makes the survival of rare-era coins from this year even more remarkable. Collectors today see the Jefferson nickel from 1964 not only as currency but as an artifact of American history. Its design, production background, and the circumstances surrounding its creation connected deeply with the era of change and financial pressure in the mid-20th century. In auctions and private sales, the most exceptional examples of the Jefferson nickel from 1964, without mint mark, have reached astonishing levels of demand. Coins with full steps, pristine luster, and confirmed rare errors are highly prized, pushing their values into extraordinary ranges. The value of the Jefferson nickel from 1964, without mint mark, has been recorded at $3.21 million in rare cases, making it one of the most surprising and valuable nickels in U.S. history. This astronomical figure proves how a common coin, under the right circumstances, can achieve legendary status. The passion for such coins also highlights the unpredictable world of collecting. What was once everyday pocket change can now sit as the centerpiece of a world-class collection. The Jefferson nickel from 1964 is a powerful reminder that numismatics is as much about discovery as it is about preservation. Ultimately, the Jefferson nickel from 1964, without mint mark, is not merely a coin but a legacy. It represents an intersection of history, rarity, and value that keeps collectors fascinated. Each surviving piece is a chance to hold a fragment of America's numismatic story, one that continues to inspire treasure hunters worldwide. Next is the Jefferson nickel has been a central coin in American history, and the 1987, with the P mint mark, is one of the most remarkable issues that collectors carefully watch. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the signature, P, that defines its origin. What makes this particular year and minting special is the subtle variations, rarity, and historical significance it carries within American numismatic culture. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and quickly became a symbol of American heritage. By 1987, with the P mint mark, the design by Felix Schlag still stood strong, featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home Monticello on the reverse. These details not only represent American history but also highlight the artistry and precision of mid-20th century coinage that was still carried forward into the late 1980s. The 1987, with the P mint mark, might appear to be an ordinary coin at first glance, but for specialists it has become one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever minted. Its rarity stems from a small number of coins that were struck with exceptional detail, sharp luster, and unusual mint errors, all of which made certain examples stand out from the millions produced. Collectors and historians have long debated why a small batch of the 1987, with the P mint mark, nickels turned into treasures worth millions. Some point to misaligned dies, while others note striking irregularities that add uniqueness to the surviving pieces. These rare anomalies are what fuel the fascination and drive the high demand among top collectors. The coin also carries the legacy of Jefferson himself, the third President of the United States, who was a man of vision, a founding father, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Having his image on the nickel gave this small coin an enduring connection to American ideals of liberty, innovation, and perseverance. The 1987, with the P mint mark, nickel represents not just money but also artistry, history, and culture. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its large-scale production, often overshadowed by its sheer numbers, still managed to produce rare gems in this year that shocked even experienced collectors when they were rediscovered decades later. As time went on, the 1987, with the P mint mark, gained international attention in numismatic auctions. Reports of collectors bidding fiercely for pristine specimens with full steps on Monticello made headlines, and the coin's reputation as one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels was cemented. These coins in superb condition are now viewed as a rare opportunity for investors and historians alike. Their story blends scarcity, history, and collector obsession, making them a fascinating piece of American treasure that very few can hold in their hands today. The coin's appeal is magnified by the fact that most circulated examples remain ordinary pocket change, but the few exceptional ones rise above all expectations. This stark contrast is what creates such mystery and allure around the 1987, with the P mint mark, Jefferson nickel. In terms of value, the finest known examples of the 1987, with the P mint mark, nickel have reached astonishing figures, with records noting a price tag of $1.58 million. This immense value proves how a small coin, overlooked by millions, can become a legendary item in the numismatic world. For coin enthusiasts, the 1987, with the P mint mark, stands as a symbol of patience and discovery. Searching through collections and rolls, the dream of uncovering one of these high-grade examples still inspires collectors to this day, reminding them that hidden treasures often lie in plain sight. Ultimately, the 1987, with the P mint mark, Jefferson nickel is more than a piece of currency. It is a fusion of history, artistry, and rare chance that elevated an ordinary coin into a multimillion-dollar masterpiece, forever securing its place as one of the rarest and most valuable nickels in American history. Next is the Jefferson nickel. Has always been a familiar coin in the United States, but the 1974 D Mintmark edition stands apart from many others because of its rarity and unexpected historical significance. While millions of nickels were minted in Denver that year, only a handful hold the unique qualities that push them into the category of extreme value and desirability. In 1974, the United States Mint faced numerous challenges, including metal shortages and shifts in the economy. The nickel, although a small coin in circulation, had its design rooted in the legacy of President Thomas Jefferson. Felix Schlag's design, featuring Jefferson's portrait and Monticello on the reverse, had been used since 1938, and the 1974 D version followed the same design, yet certain pieces emerged with errors and conditions that set them apart. The Denver Mint produced a large number of coins in 1974. But the difference between an ordinary piece and a valuable one lies in both strike quality and rare variations. Some of these nickels show unusual die cracks, misstrikes, or double die details that make them especially significant to collectors. Such anomalies, combined with pristine preservation, turn what seems like a common coin into an extraordinary treasure. Collectors often look at 1974 D nickels through the lens of condition grading. The majority found in circulation appear worn and dull, but those that have remained untouched in mint state grades carry immense potential. A coin graded MS66 or higher from this year becomes nearly impossible to find, and when coupled with any striking error, the rarity multiplies dramatically. Another fascinating aspect of the 1974 D nickel lies in its connection to American history. The coin was minted during a turbulent political era, with the Watergate scandal dominating headlines and shaping public sentiment. Holding such a coin feels like holding a physical piece of that very time, a reminder of the instability and change the country was experiencing. The Jefferson nickel design itself is tied deeply to the American story. Jefferson's image symbolized democratic ideals, while Monticello embodied his architectural vision and legacy. In 1974, D nickels continued this tradition, making them more than just pocket change. They were small tokens of national identity. As the decades passed, collectors began noticing that certain 1974 D nickels carried features far from ordinary. For instance, sharply struck examples with full steps on Monticello became extremely desirable. These coins were rare because striking quality at the Denver Mint was inconsistent, and coins with complete details rarely survived. This rarity pushed demand higher in the numismatic world. Auctions started revealing shocking prices when perfectly preserved or error-bearing 1974 D nickels surfaced. What was once considered an ordinary 5-cent piece suddenly became a high-value collectible, stirring excitement among coin enthusiasts worldwide. With such popularity, stories began circulating of hidden treasures sitting in jars, drawers, and old collections, waiting to be discovered. The allure of finding a 1974 D nickel in near-perfect condition fueled the imagination of collectors, encouraging them to carefully check even the smallest and most common denominations. The current estimated value for the rarest examples of the 1974 D Jefferson nickel has reached a staggering $2.67 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever recorded. This extraordinary value reflects both the rarity of condition and the unique errors that exist within this particular year and mintmark. The coin's worth is not just in money but also in heritage. It represents how something as small as a nickel can capture the attention of the world when rarity and condition align. Its significance is a testament to the fact that history, design, and chance all play vital roles in numismatics. for collectors, the 1974 D nickel continues to be a symbol of hope and discovery. It reminds everyone that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting for those with a sharp eye and passion for history to uncover. The story of this coin is proof that sometimes the smallest pieces carry the greatest value. Next is the Jefferson nickel. Has long been one of the most recognizable coins in American circulation, and the 1995 edition with the P mint mark from Philadelphia stands out as a fascinating chapter in its history. Collectors and enthusiasts often look at this particular year with curiosity, as it combines modern minting with rare occurrences that make it especially valuable. The design of the Jefferson nickel traces back to 1938 when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. On the obverse, the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, is proudly displayed. The reverse, featuring his Monticello home, connects the coin to his legacy in both politics and architecture. By 1995, this design had already been a part of American coinage for decades, yet subtle minting characteristics made that year distinctive. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry the P mint mark, and the 1995 Jefferson nickel is no exception. Philadelphia was the nation's first mint and remains one of the most important centers for coin production. That year, millions of nickels were produced, but only a fraction held the unique features or rare conditions that would eventually elevate their status among collectors. What makes the 1995 Jefferson nickel rare is not simply its production numbers, but rather the small anomalies, errors, or perfect striking conditions that appeared in limited quantities. Collectors highly prize such differences, as they transform an otherwise common coin into a treasure worth millions. Coins with perfect luster, sharp details, and error-free surfaces are particularly sought after. The coin also reflects the economic period of the mid-1990s in the United States, when the nation was experiencing growth and globalization. Everyday people used these nickels in transactions without realizing that certain ones carried exceptional value. Time has since turned some of these circulated pieces into relics of both monetary and historical significance. A major aspect of its rarity lies in the pristine condition of certain specimens. While many nickels from this year went into daily use and quickly wore down, a select few survived in untouched, uncirculated states. It is these coins that now command such high interest in the numismatic world. The Jefferson nickel series is known for occasional die variations, doubling, and striking irregularities, and the 1995 edition is no different. Specific varieties with doubling in the lettering or enhanced sharpness in Jefferson's profile have been discovered. These traits enhance desirability and dramatically increase their potential value at auctions. Over the years, the 1995 Jefferson nickel has become a symbol of how modern-era coins can still surprise collectors. Unlike ancient or early American coins, its value comes from scarcity and quality rather than sheer age, reminding us that even in recent history, numismatic treasures can appear. The growing popularity of coin collecting has also pushed values higher. With global collectors seeking to complete Jefferson nickel sets, the demand for rare 1995 editions with the P mint mark has grown steadily. The rarity of top-grade specimens means competition is fierce, driving prices into the millions. The highest recorded value for a rare 1995 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark is an astonishing $1.32 million. This figure reflects not just its condition and rarity but also the willingness of passionate collectors to pay extraordinary sums for a coin that represents both history and perfection. This level of value places the 1995 Jefferson nickel among the most remarkable modern coins in the United States. It is a reminder that even in the era of mass production, the art of minting still produces pieces that become legendary. The Philadelphia mint mark adds another layer of heritage, tying the coin back to the birthplace of American currency. Next is the Jefferson nickel. Has always been a familiar coin in the United States, but the 1974 D mint mark edition stands apart from many others because of its rarity and unexpected historical significance. While millions of nickels were minted in Denver that year, only a handful hold the unique qualities that push them into the category of extreme value and desirability. In 1974, the United States Mint faced numerous challenges, including metal shortages and shifts in the economy. The nickel, although a small coin in circulation, had its design rooted in the legacy of President Thomas Jefferson. Felix Schlag's design, featuring Jefferson's portrait and Monticello on the reverse, had been used since 1938, and the 1974 D version followed the same design, yet certain pieces emerged with errors and conditions that set them apart. The Denver Mint produced a large number of coins in 1974, but the difference between an ordinary piece and a valuable one lies in both strike quality and rare variations. Some of these nickels show unusual die cracks, misstrikes, or double die details that make them especially significant to collectors. Such anomalies, combined with pristine preservation, turn what seems like a common coin into an extraordinary treasure. Collectors often look at 1974 D nickels through the lens of condition grading. The majority found in circulation appear worn and dull, but those that have remained untouched in mint state grades carry immense potential. A coin graded MS66 or higher from this year becomes nearly impossible to find, and when coupled with any striking error, the rarity multiplies dramatically. Another fascinating aspect of the 1974 D nickel lies in its connection to American history. The coin was minted during a turbulent political era, with the Watergate scandal dominating headlines and shaping public sentiment. Holding such a coin feels like holding a physical piece of that very time, a reminder of the instability and change the country was experiencing. The Jefferson nickel design itself is tied deeply to the American story. Jefferson's image symbolized democratic ideals, while Monticello embodied his architectural vision and legacy. In 1974, D nickels continued this tradition, making them more than just pocket change. They were small tokens of national identity. As the decades passed, collectors began noticing that certain 1974 D nickels carried features far from ordinary. For instance, sharply struck examples with full steps on Monticello became extremely desirable. These coins were rare because striking quality at the Denver Mint was inconsistent, and coins with complete details rarely survived. This rarity pushed demand higher in the numismatic world. Auctions started revealing shocking prices when perfectly preserved or error-bearing 1974 D nickels surfaced. What was once considered an ordinary 5-cent piece suddenly became a high-value collectible, stirring excitement among coin enthusiasts worldwide. With such popularity, stories began circulating of hidden treasures sitting in jars, drawers, and old collections, waiting to be discovered. The allure of finding a 1974 D nickel in near-perfect condition fueled the imagination of collectors, encouraging them to carefully check even the smallest and most common denominations. The current estimated value for the rarest examples of the 1974 D Jefferson nickel has reached a staggering $2.67 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever recorded. This extraordinary value reflects both the rarity of condition and the unique errors that exist within this particular year and mint mark. The coin's worth is not just in money but also in heritage. It represents how something as small as a nickel can capture the attention of the world when rarity and condition align. Its significance is a testament to the fact that history, design, and chance all play vital roles in numismatics. For collectors, the 1974 D nickel continues to be a symbol of hope and discovery. It reminds everyone that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting for those with a sharp eye and passion for history to uncover. The story of this coin is proof that sometimes the smallest pieces carry the greatest value. Next is the 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1986, with the P mint mark, holds a special place in American coinage as part of a long-running series that began in 1938. The coin carries not only the design of Thomas Jefferson but also the history of U.S. minting traditions that evolved throughout the 20th century. The obverse of the 1986 nickel features the bust of Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag, who won the original design competition for the series. This portrait remained unchanged for decades and became one of the most recognizable designs in circulation, symbolizing both continuity and simplicity in American currency. On the reverse of the 1986 nickel stands the elegant depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. This design reflects his architectural influence and serves as a tribute to his intellectual and political legacy. Over the years, Monticello on the nickel has been seen as a strong national symbol tied to Jefferson's ideals. The Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P mint mark, produced millions of nickels in 1986, but among them, rare die varieties and striking errors have emerged, making certain examples highly valuable. These unique minting flaws are what set apart common circulation coins from extraordinary collectibles worth fortunes. Collectors began to notice the scarcity of well-preserved 1986 Jefferson nickels with sharp strikes and error varieties, such as double dies or off-center strikes. These unusual pieces became highlights in numismatic circles, fueling demand and increasing their desirability in the global coin market. The Jefferson nickel series itself has been a beloved collectible due to its long history, affordability, and the opportunity to uncover rare treasures like the 1986 P Mintmark variety. The fact that a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin could rise to such prominence makes it even more appealing to both seasoned and new collectors. Condition plays a crucial role in the rarity of the 1986 Jefferson nickel. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition with strong luster are especially hard to find, and when paired with an error or unique variety, their market value skyrockets. Grading services often certify these coins, further solidifying their rarity. The historical context of 1986 also adds to the appeal. It was a time when U.S. coin production saw advancements in minting technology, yet even with improvements, flaws still occurred. These imperfections gave rise to rare coins that today are seen as hidden gems within the numismatic world. Over time, the 1986 Jefferson nickel has gained fame for its scarcity in top grades and for error specimens that captivate collectors. Auction records have shown that bidders are willing to pay incredible sums for the right example, demonstrating the strong market for this particular issue. The value of the rarest 1986 Jefferson nickel with P Mintmark has been recorded at $1.80 million, a staggering amount for a coin with a face value of just 5 cents. This extraordinary leap in value highlights how rarity, condition, and collector demand can turn a small piece of metal into a multimillion-dollar treasure. Such valuations prove that hidden wealth may still exist in everyday change. The chance that someone could unknowingly hold one of these rare 1986 Jefferson nickels makes the search exciting, sparking interest not only among professional collectors but also among casual hobbyists. Ultimately, the 1986 Jefferson nickel with the P Mintmark represents the perfect blend of history, artistry, rarity, and immense value. It is a reminder that even the smallest coins can hold great significance and become treasures worth millions in the world of numismatics. Next is the 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with the P Mintmark, is one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history, known for its scarcity and the interest it has drawn from collectors across the globe. While most coins from this era are considered common, certain minting factors made this particular issue incredibly valuable. Its story is deeply tied to both the history of U.S. coinage and the culture of American collecting. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and quickly became a staple of U.S. circulation. By the time the 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with P Mintmark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the design had already cemented itself as a piece of everyday American life. The obverse carries the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse depicts his home, Monticello, reflecting both history and national pride. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with the P symbol, played a vital role in producing a vast amount of circulating coinage for the nation. Yet, despite the millions of coins made in 1996, the 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with P Mintmark, had rare variations and production errors that have pushed some examples into the spotlight. These unique characteristics are what separate ordinary nickels from ones worth life-changing amounts. Collectors often point to striking errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, which make coins like the 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with P Mintmark, incredibly desirable. These anomalies mean that not all coins are created equal, and a few hidden treasures could be sitting unnoticed in collections, drawers, or even pocket change. The Jefferson nickel has always been a favorite among hobbyists because of its accessibility and potential for surprises. The 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with P Mintmark, is a perfect example of how an ordinary coin can turn extraordinary, blending rarity with historical context to capture the imagination of collectors. As the series approached the turn of the century, demand for high-quality and unusual examples of the 5 cents Jefferson nickel 1996, with P Mintmark, grew rapidly. Auction houses began spotlighting rare finds, fueling interest and pushing prices upward. It became clear that coins once overlooked were becoming some of the most valuable nickels in the market. what makes this coin truly fascinating is its combination of history, minting quirks, and cultural significance. Every time a new example of the 5-cent Jefferson nickel 1996, with P mint mark, appears in auctions, it reignites discussions about the future of coin collecting and the enduring legacy of the Jefferson series. For many enthusiasts, owning such a coin is not only about monetary value but also about holding a tangible piece of American history. The 5-cent Jefferson nickel 1996, with P mint mark, connects the everyday transactions of the 1990s with the heritage of one of America's founding fathers, creating a bridge between history and numismatic art. The rarity of the 5-cent Jefferson nickel 1996, with P mint mark, is compounded by its survival and pristine condition. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services are few, and they often become the centerpiece of advanced collections, making them nearly impossible to acquire without significant competition. The estimated value of the 5-cent Jefferson nickel 1996, with P mint mark, has reached an astonishing $1.10 million for certain rare specimens at auction. This price reflects not just its scarcity but the passion of collectors willing to pay record amounts for a piece that represents both rarity and history. Such a high value demonstrates how even modern coins can carry extraordinary worth when rarity and condition align. The 5-cent Jefferson nickel 1996, with P mint mark, proves that the world of numismatics isn't limited to ancient or early U.S. coins, but can extend into relatively recent issues that surprise collectors.